opportunity. Perhaps my presentation will sound a little strange because it was intended for the Metaverse session that was merged with this one. Okay, a little bit general maybe. In this presentation, we will explore potential future application of the Metaverse, a space for developing and showcasing video games designed for cultural heritage, valorisation, and dissemination. Who we are? I'm Margo Lengua. Currently, I'm a PhD student in architecture and design cultures at the University of Bologna. My area of research is related to technology and design in the cultural heritage field. My colleague, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, is Michela de Bernardin. She is currently a postdoctoral researcher in the Center for Cultural Heritage Technology of the Italian Institute of Technology in Venice. Her research focuses on innovative technologies for the protection and valorization of cultural heritage. So, let's start. As we know, the video game language has provided significant potential over time in engaging, educating, and enhancing cultural heritage. It has opened up new ways to disseminate history and culture. The constantly evolving world of tools, technology, and social habits in video games are redefining them as new social spaces that reimagine cultural practice. The development of cultural heritage experiences in the gaming industry can vary in complexity, ranging from elaborate video games to simple applications used for museum tours or entertaining elements with virtual environments. Meanwhile, gaming software and technologies are opening up new fields of experimentation. The advanced virtual experience capabilities of gaming technologies, thanks to real-time 3D game engine, are becoming the fundamental infrastructure for the Metaverse. This perspective makes us rethink the processes of developing interactive game experiences related to cultural heritage within the Metaverse, considering its potential characteristics. How about the Metaverse? The concept of Metaverse has been getting more and more relevant, pushed by the pressure of multinational technology conglomerates and recent surge of interest in Web3, blockchain, non-fungible token, and cryptocurrencies. It is an ever-evolving concept that is between happening and going to happen. The Metaverse can be defined as three-dimensional virtual space that offers various kinds of experiences and performs social and economic functions that almost replace the real world. Its advances always connected virtual world where users exist in the form of avatars, social and workspace are available, as well as entertainment and exhibition areas. As for its specific feature, the Metaverse is usually defined as a spatial and 3D environment, a real-time experience shareable with multiple current users, persistent, it continues to exist and evolve even when users are interacting with it, hybrid, layered and integrated between virtual and physical reality. Generating functional economies that can impact on real economy, social, enable social interaction with users, implementable with user-generating contents, assets, and experiences. Users can develop their own game experiences and assets that interact with the world itself. Interoperable, users can develop their assets and trade them. It's possible to carry over avatars and move seamlessly between worlds. From a game design perspective, we can see how some elements of the Metaverse are drawn directly from video games. Metaverse, such as, for example, the Central, shares with massive multiplayer role-playing games the feature of a persistent open world in which players simultaneously connected can roam freely without being tied to a narrative progression or a main goal. The Metaverse expresses worlds where users have a highly active role, impersonate customizable avatars, travel across the map, collecting news items that can be sold and traded, and take part in economic filter system within the virtual worlds. Also, the Metaverse shares many traits with sandbox games that offer the creative freedom of transforming and influencing the game world, usually without a set goal, or alternatively with a goal that players can set themselves. The combination of different features typical of different game genres can boost the Metaverse into a platform for gaming experimentation. To provide a clear understanding, we will outline potential future scenarios for cultural heritage video game development in the Metaverse, focusing on games developed in collaboration with or by museum institutions. Challenged by pervasive technology, museums are radically transforming the exhibition approaches and audience experience, like different types of storytelling, educational practice, and fruition modes, by incorporating new practice into their programs such as video games. Here's an example: Time Tales, Prism 7 from Centre Pompidou, Nubla, Father and Son from National Archaeological Museum of Naples, Gift for Antea from British Museum, and The Mission for Leiden National Museum of Antiquities. These games was integrated perfectly into a highly eclectic context such as the Metaverse, populated by brands, surreal architecture, galleries, and experiences of all kinds, where it will be possible to meet new audiences with whom to develop new participation modes, organize specific experiences for the virtual environment, and strike possible collaboration with other institutions. Video games developed in the Metaverse can count on increased visibility, accessibility, and could translate in a new strategy for museum digital existence. So the questions are: which of the Metaverse features can be considered most relevant in the development of future scenarios in such context? How might we, in the future, use some features of the Metaverse in a ludic way to develop video games for cultural institutions? So, from a methodological point of view, this presentation will try to transfer into the Metaverse the game dynamics mainly used to convey historical or cultural content. That is, the typical dynamics of educational, narrative, and strategic management video games. Three macro themes of application, that is, user participation, user education, and health and enhancement, that often underpin the development of museums video games, will be used to direct the exploitation of the Metaverse features in the transposition of game dynamics. In our analysis, the peculiarities of user-generated content and the potential of interoperability of elements will be especially considered as a Metaverse innovation. For a recap, as we said before, the feature of user-generated content within the Metaverse is accessible to any player. For example, the sandbox Metaverse. In the sandbox Metaverse, it's possible to make video games thanks to specific software that doesn't require any programming knowledge, like the game maker. User-generated content is directly related to interoperability, that is, as we know, the ability to collect and share assets and avatars through words. Here you can see a cryptocurrency wallet from the central for managing assets and a marketplace for trading assets. At the game design level, the Metaverse allows the user to explore the creative system that can facilitate transformative experiences. In this context, user-generated content and interoperability are characteristics that allow to develop new participative and co-design practices, as well as new manners of audience engagement in the digital environment, and to develop specific sharing acquisition mechanics and dynamics that gamify assets. The 3D reconstruction of historical scenarios and artifacts that are often used with educational video games could find new dimension in the Metaverse. The available tools could provide a way for museums to design educational experience and beyond in co-design with users through the development of cooperative and competitive scenario. The game design would be so entertaining that it could be interpreted as the gameplay itself, creating an interactive, informal, and participatory learning process. We can draw an example of educational game experience for Dive in the Past. developed to display accurate 3D reconstruction for submerged archaeological sites. In a working simulator style, these video games allow the players to explore the underwater world. Within the metaverse, such a video game could foster individual or collective participation in the development of virtual historical sites by using 3D assets like bricks, floor, statues, and paintings, provided by or developed with the museum in a participatory way. Developed through participatory or co-design practices, educational mini-games to be included in a virtual reconstruction, for example, puzzle or multiple choice questions. Incorporate modification based on different educational needs, for example, age of the audience, new exhibit, discoveries, addition of submerged archaeological site. Implement rewards dynamics through the use of thematic assets like digital twins, reproduction of artifacts, faithful reconstruction, developed for study purposes and made available by the institution itself. Narrative video games for the enhancement of cultural heritage could also gain new dynamics by exploring the participatory mode of free production made available within the metaverse. For example, A Night in the Forum is a video game with a narrative progression and an accurate visual historical reconstruction of the Roman Forum. Guided by an narrative voice, the user will explore the forum performing tasks that will allow him to progress in the game. In video games like A Night in the Forum, the non-infinite structure of the metaverse allow the users to imagine new open and creative narratives, such as spin-off story set in the Roman Forum or in other related settings, created by the user or made available by institutions. Within the metaverse, such game could also actively engage the user in the post-production by providing them access to the development assets like environment, research, and history. Add new means of cooperation or competition between audiences user through, for example, quest or escape room dynamics. Participating in co-design dynamics, museum could design with the user ad hoc narrative dynamics for the video game. For example, museum could develop stories from the user to continue by providing materials for the creator of other narrative related to the Roman Forum. In strategic management video games, the interoperability of the metaverse could be used to provide new original dynamics for the gameplay. Mirasna, I Am Etruscan is a mobile strategy management video game developed in collaboration with multiple Italian archaeological museums to promote the Etruscan civilization. The game tasks users with growing Etruscan cities by producing resources and build structures. Elements like resources and structure are very important for this type of video game, and this can be a key for exploring the possibility with the metaverse, particularly in the management of interoperable assets. So, within the metaverse, such a video game could engage multiple users at the same time. In fact, the multiplayer mode could improve cultural participation, enabling the users to look for resources collectively or competitively within the virtual worlds. Be pervasive, the cultural institution could disseminate the game to other virtual worlds, for example, through the development of interconnected cities, so as to expand the audience pool and increase the possibility of creating connected communities. Turn assets such as resources like wood or iron, or buildings like necropolis, temples, or mine, into benefit items that can only be obtained by exchange and through interaction with other players. Be a networking tool. open to direct participation between cultural institutions, for instance, for recreating Etruscan towns and reproducing artifacts or decorative elements to be used in the game experience. To date, the Metaverse feature of user-generated content and interoperability of elements seems to be the most suitable for developing ludic experiences dedicated to cultural heritage. Advanced virtual environments appear to provide cultural institutions with the opportunity to experiment more freely in developing entertaining experience. Thanks to the technological development, a cultural institution could create participatory or co-designed experience with the users, allowing them to take up a creator role within the digital space. The resulting game experiences will be more fluid and easier to update, with the possibility of being implemented by cultural institutions and users alike, moving away from the concept of a video game as a closed world. The fluidity of experiences in the metaverse suggests a future where video games do not need to be restricted to a single specific genre or objective. Gaming experiences could potentially serve multiple objectives and blend different genres while engaging different kinds of users simultaneously. A new horizon appears to be upcoming for the development of gaming experience for cultural institutions, as they can now rely on a platform that plays a critical role both technologically and socially. The Metaverse could transform such gaming experience into cultural hubs that, due to their open and evolving nature, can serve as a relational tool capable of attracting and engaging stakeholders thanks to the possibility of creating new content and experiences. The Metaverse has the potential to be an incredible space for reaching out to new and diverse audiences and building strong and mutual cultural connection. However, the shape and behavior of this new space depend on the people who inhabit it. We don't know yet how or if the Metaverse in its full form will adopt it and populate it. This uncertainty may pose a challenge to the development of cultural gaming activity, especially in a context where user participation is necessary for the world to function properly. Additionally, the game industry is still experimenting with mechanics and new languages related to decentralized technology and its context of application. Indeed, without a clear reference operating model, it's challenging to develop specific museum-related video game scenarios in the context of Metaverse. However, the experimentation and development of new types of video games can provide valuable insight and inspiration for museum and cultural institutions interested in exploring the potential of Metaverse. In addition, issues related to the lack of common standards of application as well as regulation related to privacy make it difficult to predict the long-term sustainability of these environments, and thus also the possible gaming experiences developed in this context by museums. So,